For generations, the tales of Bigfoot have been whispered around campfires. They've always been dismissed as myth, or just a shadow in the trees, easily explained by an overactive imagination. In today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most incredible yet unsettling recent encounters, taking you directly into the heart of moments that left witnesses profoundly shaken and questioning everything they thought they knew. A quiet day in the wilderness gets abruptly interrupted by the appearance of a shadowy figure. Was it merely a trick of the light? Or did this modern camera truly record the legendary creature we call Bigfoot? Join us as we meticulously examine the footage, dissect the circumstances, and challenge you to decide what truly moved through those trees. It's October 24, 2010, and a man named Josh Highcliffe was hog hunting in a swamp in Mississippi. A noise behind a tree made him suspicious, and he took out his phone to record.
"50 yards away, we see what appears to be a dark-haired animal in the forest tearing apart a cypress tree."
What he captured has left researchers and believers stunned for over a decade. The footage reveals a dark, hairy creature approximately 50 yards away, tearing apart a cypress tree. The crucial moment is when the creature suddenly stands upright, appearing to double in size. Overcome with terror, Highcliffe drops his camera and runs, leaving the proof of this creature behind. Field researcher Cliff Barackman was immediately captivated, believing the footage showed natural behavior known of a skunk ape, the local Bigfoot, found in these swamps. He highlighted Mississippi's vast forests as ideal but under-researched habitats for such creatures.
To check the authenticity of this footage, we met with forensic video analyst Michael Primo.
Through frame-by-frame examination, it appears that the camera is handheld. That's documenting this interaction, and there's some rapid movement.
To verify the footage's authenticity, the proof is out there, got on many experts. Forensic video analyst Michael Primo concluded that the handheld camera work, not to forget the rapid movement and motion blur, made the footage appear physically genuine.
My first thought was that this was a black bear. Bears often rip apart tree trunks looking for grubs. However, it didn't appear like a bear once it stood straight up.
Biologist Floyd Hayes considered a black bear, known for tearing trees, but found its upright stance inconsistent with expected bear behavior. Anatomist and Bigfoot expert Jeff Meldrum gave an interesting observation. The creature's limb proportions when standing straight more closely resembled a human than a gorilla. He estimated its height around 7 to 8 feet, concluding that if it were a fabrication, it was very cleverly contrived. The experts, seeming cautiously optimistic, we're still left with lingering questions about the true identity of the towering figure.
So the person who submitted this video went by the name of Josh Highcliffe. Nobody seems to know who he is. They've never yet come forward with a picture of him or even record a statement from him.
In the beginning, the footage seemed promising, like another potential breakthrough for Bigfoot believers. But veteran investigator Steve Kulls wasn't convinced. Determined to verify the story, he set out to track down the man behind the camera, someone named Josh Highcliffe. Kulls dug deep, using internet searches and private investigation databases, but he came up empty. No real trace of Josh Highcliffe existed. Instead, what he did find raised serious red flags. The only mention of that name appeared in a TV show called Beasts of the Bayou, which was a series that just happened to premiere not long after the viral video made its rounds online. That discovery changed everything. It pointed to the possibility that the video wasn't authentic at all, but rather a staged segment created for television, perhaps even part of a spoof-style documentary. Kulls' findings led the investigative series The Proof Is Out There to label the footage a potential hoax, advising viewers to stay suspicious unless and until a verifiable Josh Highcliffe comes forward. This clip stands as one of the most debated and intriguing pieces of alleged Bigfoot evidence, often considered second only to the famous Patterson-Gimlin film. This grainy, shaky video, captured by former U.S. Forest Service patrolman and ardent cryptozoologist Paul Freeman, shows a Sasquatch moving through the dense trees of the Blue Mountains in northeastern Oregon.
They look like they're about 9 inches long. They're pretty good little tracks. He's sure a little one.
He starts by measuring tracks he has found in the video. Paul Freeman had a long history of Bigfoot encounters and investigations before this celebrated footage. His journey into the world of Sasquatch began in 1982, when he reportedly sighted a Bigfoot near Walla Walla, Washington, and discovered impressive footprints with dermal ridges. However, Freeman's credibility was often questioned due to his prior admission of attempting to fake Bigfoot prints for experimental purposes, an admission that unfortunately overshadowed his legitimate discoveries for many skeptics.
32 inches between the stride there. Yeah, I'm gonna look around a little bit more, let these dry.
He says he was on a routine walk through a familiar, remote forested region in the Blue Mountains. Unlike previous outings where he might have been unprepared, this time he was carrying a video camera. According to accounts, Freeman was actively tracking these elusive creatures, having an intuition about their presence in the area. What he captured next would become a cornerstone of Bigfoot lore.
Oh, there he goes. Jesus. Get up here where I can see him real quick.
The footage, though of low resolution and inherently shaky due to the circumstances of its recording, appears to show a massive creature standing on 2 legs, moving through the trees. Analysis by proponents highlights the creature's fluid movement, distinct muscle behavior beneath its fur, and proportions that slightly differ from a human. These details, they argue, would have been exceedingly difficult to replicate with a costume given the technology of the early 1990s. The film also seems to show not just one, but potentially 2 Bigfoots tending to their young, adding a layer of complex behavior and the possibility of a family unit. However, given Freeman's own admission to creating fake tracks, many still consider this a hoax. Nonetheless, this clip is a big part in solidifying the Bigfoot lore. While out in the woods, researchers Mike and Gwen had an experience that shook them to the core. As part of their usual routine, one of them tried a classic Bigfoot research tactic, a wood knock, where basically a piece of wood is hit against a tree in search of a response. To their surprise, something out there answered back. A clear, deliberate knock echoed through the trees. At that moment, the whole atmosphere changed. This wasn't just random forest noise, it was something intentional. Mike froze, then turned to Gwen and told her to get her phone out really fast. He knew how important it was to capture not just video, but audio too. They'd already been hearing footsteps and strange movements nearby. And now this? Something seemed to be trying to communicate with them. The knock had come from about 200 feet away, and it felt too perfectly timed to be a coincidence. The more they thought about it, the more it seemed like they were in a kind of back and forth with something, or someone out there. It raised the hair at the nape of their necks. Whatever it was, it didn't feel like just another animal. It felt smart, curious, maybe even watching them from the shadows.
I believe that we've got 2 creatures. One over here, one back here. They're watching us right now. This way. That way.
As the encounter progressed, the situation grew increasingly creepy. What began as a single distant wood knock quickly evolved into a chorus of sounds. the researchers started hearing distinct wood knocks coming from different directions, one from a ridge and another from below them. This fast, almost impossible movement suggested they were dealing with not one, but at least two creatures, actively watching and surrounding them. The sounds grew intense, becoming more animalistic, low, growly, and incredibly loud.
I was so in my own world listening to everything and sort of like in a panic.
Just the volume and closeness of these terrifying vocalizations were bone-chilling, making it feel as if the creatures were right behind them. The group realized they were completely surrounded. The sounds seemed to be coming from all sides, creating a feeling of entrapment, which was heightening their fears.
Mike, we have to go now. I rushed over and touched Kenny, and I could feel.
Overwhelmed by the terrifying racket and the feeling of being surrounded, the researchers began to hear strange chatter among the creatures, like a murmuring, a sort of communication that further freaked them. The situation became unbearable, leading to an urgent decision to retreat. Mike, realizing the gravity of their situation, knew they had to get out immediately. He instructed the group to walk slowly and cautiously, not to run. He warned that running would trigger the creature's predatory instincts, which might lead to a fatal chase. As they began their slow withdrawal, the distinct sound of heavy, fast stomping could be heard rushing towards them. Each do-do-do-do of the heavy footfalls filled them with pure fear. The experience was so intense that the witness recounted their life flashing before their eyes, genuinely believing they would die. The creatures were clearly angry, wanting them gone, making this a scary escape from what they believed was an aggressive Bigfoot encounter. In the creepy embrace of Shadow Figure Forest, Jared Bear and Jakey went on a live adventure, their journey unfolding as the sun dipped below the horizon. The air was thick with curiosity, not just for the beautiful sunset, but for the potential of uncovering the unknown. Early in their adventure, Jared revealed their plans for a later video shoot near a place where a subscriber mentioned having a Bigfoot encounter.
Man, when we was sitting just right there, it sounded like, I don't know, it sounded like it was right in here.
This revelation immediately set a mysterious tone, hinting at the cryptid encounters that might lie ahead. As they went deeper into the woods, the conversation shifted to strange occurrences. Jared recounted a past, unsettling experience that gave the forest its ominous name.
I thought there was like cracks in the cement where there was water.
Right, yeah, there was. Oh, wow. That's a rock. Holy smokes, man. Goodness gracious.
He confessed to having called this shadow figure the Forest because they had seen weird dark shadows during an exploration they were conducting one night.
You know, after me and you seen quite a few shadow figures moving around that one night, Jake, I've never really seen it again.
This personal confession underscored the very real, if unexplained, phenomena they had witnessed, adding a layer of personal history to their current exploration. The forest itself seemed to run along with their hunt for the unexplained. While preparing their meal, an unidentifiable sound broke the peace. Jared, startled, questioned if it was a growl.
This was a little too flimsy there. Oh, that was really easy. Really easy. Is that a growl? Did you hear that? Yeah.
This auditory event, without any explanation, served as a chilling reminder of the wild, untamed nature of the forest and the lingering possibility of unseen inhabitants. Despite the unsettling sounds and the lingering presence of the unknown, Jared and Jakey continued their adventure, cooking kielbasa by the river. The forest offered both beauty and mystery, leaving them and their viewers to ponder the existence of Bigfoot and the elusive shadow figures that gave the forest its name. The journey was a testament to their enduring quest for the unexplained, a narrative woven with anticipation, personal history, and the raw, untamed sounds of the wilderness. In the lonely snow-covered landscapes east of the Banff Park boundary near Nordegg, Alberta, a routine check of oil field equipment turned into an unexpected encounter. An oil field worker, going about his daily duties, drove through a remote, wintry scene. His dash camera, a silent observer, continuously recorded the journey, showing him walking out of the frame, capturing the pristine beauty of snow-capped trees and the gentle descent of snowfall.
So we end up spending a lot of time looking at information that perhaps we wouldn't have been exposed to otherwise. I've read about something called the negativity bias. Tim, how does that affect how we consume information in an online era?
It wasn't until much later that day, when reviewing the footage for an entirely different reason, that the worker came upon something extraordinary. Nestled among the long trees lining the roadside, a tall, dark figure stood motionless. The shadows of the dense forest provided a natural camouflage, making the creature almost blend seamlessly with its surroundings. Yet, the dash cam, with its unblinking eye, had captured a clear image of what many believe to be Bigfoot.
No, it's all open here. Yeah, no, I'll go down to the pipeline and check that one.
As the car leaves the spot, something was caught in the camera. The figure's imposing height and dark silhouette against the white backdrop of the snow made it stand out once noticed. What adds another layer of intrigue to this particular sighting is the belief that this might not be an isolated incident. Researchers speculate that this solitary figure could be connected to another remarkable piece of footage. Just 25 to 30 miles to the west, a video recorded by David Beaver in December 2019 reportedly showed a Bigfoot holding a young Bigfoot. Given the close proximity and the potential for these creatures to travel, there's a compelling theory that the figure captured on the oil field dash cam is part of the same Bigfoot family, perhaps on a migratory journey towards lower elevations. Intriguingly, like the earlier footage, this new image also suggests the tall, dark figure is holding something close in its arms, adding a poignant, familial dimension to the sighting. This dashcam recording, born from a mundane work routine, offers a tantalizing piece of evidence in the ongoing search for Bigfoot, hinting at a hidden world thriving amidst the remote Canadian wilderness. This Squatch Watchers video took viewers on a high-tension solo investigation, as a researcher believes he's being observed by something massive and unseen in the wilderness. What begins as a cautious trek quickly escalates into a chilling encounter, resulting in a towering, dark shape captured on camera.
Just to get it.
And that's right what we ran through.
Yeah.
Huh?
Now it's blocked.
Spider webs.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another drop off where y'all are at?
Yeah.
Yeah, about another 4 or 5 foot in front of us. It takes about another 10 feet and you're in the water.
Alone in the thick forest, the investigator couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Almost immediately, he noticed a strange, pin-drop silence. No buzzing insects, no chirping birds, not even the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind.
You don't hear any other birds or animals.
It is dead quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even hear the cicadas.
Yeah, no insects or nothing.
It was the kind of quiet that didn't feel peaceful. It felt wrong. Over the radio, his team confirmed they were experiencing the same weird stillness, even from a distance. The absence of sound, paired with the tricky landscape, hidden drop-offs, streams, and dense brush, only made things feel more uncertain.
You want to go towards Fear Rock? The other way?
Just got to be careful.
We can go the other way if y'all want to.
I'll tell you what. Do y'all want to go to Fear Rock that way and I'll go through the woods this way?
Sure. You want to take camera?
I can.
It's recording, so you just keep
All right,
it rolling.
I'm going to keep it rolling.
You need a light or anything?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Be safe. Catch phone?
Yep.
Right.
As he went deeper into the woods, that abnormal silence followed him like a shadow. Every small noise, even a twig snapping, a leaf crunching, was suddenly multiplied, making the forest feel alive in all the wrong ways. The quiet didn't feel calm anymore. It felt like the whole place was holding its breath and just waiting.
I'm going in here where it's dark. So something has come through here recently because all this is tore down. And so I'm going to step on that right there.
The investigation took a dramatic turn when the lead researcher decided to separate from his companions, trying to push through a thick, thorny area by himself while the others looped around towards a ridge. With only his camera rolling, he dived into the darker, overgrown area of the woods. He observed recent disturbances, noting how vegetation appeared to have been forcefully pushed away, indicating a strong presence had passed through recently.
The guys are going off around there. They're going to make their way around to that ridge. They're going up to that ridge. And
navigating a tight, natural entryway formed by low-hanging limbs, he admitted to a growing sense of fear. His lone venture culminated in a moment of intense fear as he spotted something significant near a location known as Fear Rock. He expressed discomfort about what he was seeing, desperately trying to keep the mysterious form in view while struggling with the difficult ground, his camera capturing his frantic efforts to get a clearer look at the formidable, unseen entity.
there's something up on that knoll. There is something up on that knoll. Oh my goodness. Now I'm coming out. Oh, God, taki mushrooms. Oh, there's a path through here. Oh, where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Where's it at? Where is it at? Oh Lord, gosh, I'm telling you.
The investigator's anxiety peaked as he managed to get a better view of the mysterious shape. He shared his shock and fear to his team that had just joined again, describing an immense figure standing on a distant rise, appearing vast, dark, and utterly scary. He stressed the sheer scale of the entity, which seemed to dominate the landscape. As he attempted to approach, something in a nearby area was either displaced or thrown, suggesting a direct, powerful response from the hidden being.
Up where?
Over here, but it could have been, yeah.
Okay, so right in there.
Yeah.
Right in there, coming up that hill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the camera. Y'all can hear me holler for you guys.
Yeah, we heard you.
There is a figure standing up in that knoll that's just, and it's just huge, and it's black, and it's ominous.
However, just as swiftly as it had appeared, the figure seemed to dissolve into thin air. He expressed his disbelief, stating that it was simply gone from the rise. The group was left profoundly unsettled and convinced they were not alone in the woods that night, and wrestling with the undeniable reality of a massive, shadowy form they had witnessed and briefly interacted with. This video features a chilling eyewitness account from Snow Creek in Northern California, detailing a terrifying close encounter with a Bigfoot, followed by an investigator's on-site exploration of a similar area where unsettling sounds were recently heard.
I had a close encounter with the Bigfoot 3 years ago, in May of 2014. It happened in a mobile home park I lived at in a small town called Gazelle in Northern California by Mount Shasta. I was not home by myself when this happened. The encounter happened 2 nights in a row.
Snow Creek shares a terrifying two-night encounter with a Bigfoot in May 2014 at a mobile home park in Basil, Northern California, near Mount Shasta. The creature, described as very tall, violently shook their trailer, growled in a threatening manner through the window, and repeatedly bumped the structure with significant force. The witness, paralyzed by fear, did not look directly at the creature.
The day I saw scratches on my window and my friend found hair on the electric pole next to the trailer. The hair was orangish-brownish gray. It was a big chunk of hair.
However, another person present in the home ventured outside and witnessed a very tall figure walking towards the property's rear. Following these 2 nights of intense activity, physical evidence was discovered. Scratches marked the window, and a large clump of orangish-brownish gray hair was found on an electric pole next to the trailer. The witness revealed that they had previously researched Bigfoot behaviors and knew of their preferred hiding spots, having heard their distinctive sounds in the area even before this close encounter.
But starting to get dark, I heard a growl outside near my window. Then, that was it. The year before in the summertime, one night the trailer shook, but not too hard.
The account is further contextualized by Kelly from the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, RMSO, who highlights the Mount Shasta area as a significant hotspot for Bigfoot sightings and paranormal activity. Kelly highlights many other notable incidents in the region, including a man collecting pine cones who was forced to retreat due to an intimidating Bigfoot approach, and another encounter near the Lake Shasta Caverns. This solidifies the idea that Snow Creek's experience is not isolated, but part of a pattern of unexplained phenomena in that specific geographical area. The RMSO's response confirms the seriousness of Snow Creek's report, emphasizing the ongoing nature of Bigfoot research in such active zones, and encouraging continued determination from witnesses.
Hi, Snow Creek. This is Kelly with Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization responding. Really appreciate hearing about your encounter. There's a lot of Bigfoot sightings, a lot of paranormal activity around the Mount Shasta volcano and the Mount Shasta area. I know of several Bigfoot sightings off the top of my head, like a man collecting pine cones that had to retreat from a Bigfoot.
The video then shifts to an on-site investigation by a researcher at night, near a fence bordering a state park forest, around 9:48 p.m. The investigator explains that a scream was heard just before, coming from the dense, protected woodland behind the fence. He describes a pasture area with numerous trees and ferns, which becomes increasingly dense further back. The scary part of the account is the belief that a creature, expected to be Bigfoot, approached this fence, jumped over it, and was standing in the very spot where the investigator was recording. As he narrates this, a series of distinct, unsettling sounds is captured on camera, which the investigator identifies as the creature itself. This live audio evidence, combined with the description of the creature's movements, creates a noticeable sense of an unseen, powerful entity actively present and interacting with the environment in close proximity to the investigator. This video takes viewers on another live adventure into Shadow Figure Forest, a location known for its mysterious structures, unexplainable lights, and reported sightings of shadowy figures, Dogman, and Bigfoot.
Today we're back at Shadow Figure Forest, where there's multiple, what would you call them, structures. We've seen balls of light.
The journey begins in Shadow Figure Forest, a place described as having multiple unusual structures and a history of unexplained phenomena, including sightings of light orbs and shadowy figures. Viewers are taken into a live adventure, and the investigator, Jared Bear, immediately sets an intriguing tone. He mentions that the community has even captured screenshots of what they believe to be Dogman and Bigfoot in this very location.
I got the knocker in the bag. Once we get up here to old Caddy, I'll give a couple knocks. Like and share the video, guys.
In between the beautiful sunset, The conversation quickly shifts to the investigator's personal theory about Bigfoot. He explains that his initial curiosity stemmed from the creature's presence in stories across cultures and time. But his current belief is that Bigfoot, like Dogman, might be a demonic entity or a fallen angel capable of manifesting physically.
Yeah, I hope you guys, I know I probably missed a lot. That's how it goes for our explorers, but I hope you guys are all having a great day as well. Look how pretty this is. I'm not going to be able to show you the sunset. Like if the sky started changing, I don't have the time. I love when that sky gets pretty back there. This is such a pretty spot during sunset.
This spiritual perspective adds a unique, unsettling layer to the traditional Bigfoot hunt, suggesting a more supernatural explanation for it never being caught. As the investigation continues, Jared and Jakey consider multiple approaches to get a response from the creature. They discuss using a Randonautica app with a Bigfoot intent, but first they decide to try a classic method, wood knocks. Jared demonstrates using a homemade knocker.
That's all she did was made me want to go more. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get down there. For sure sometime, but there'll be other stuff before that. Where is it? That's decent. Well, that's a good one.
Attempting to create a sound that might communicate with whatever is lurking in the forest. As they move through the land, they come upon unusual formations and disturbances in the environment. Jared points out what appears to be a little teepee starting over here, suggesting possible structures built by unknown entities. He also highlights a weird black spot and other oddly placed elements, indicating that the landscape itself holds clues to the mysterious activity. The search for answers continues, with the investigators actively engaging the environment.
Don't get too irritated with me. I'm going to try to remember to put little reminders like that out there more. Because I think sometimes I don't even mention anything. If I don't mention it, nobody will ever know. But yeah, family vlog channel, that'll be cool, guys. I'll start doing some different stuff then too for...
Hoping to provoke a sign from the unseen inhabitants of Shadow Figure Forest. Our investigators make a shocking discovery, observing recent and inexplicable changes to the forest's natural structures. They notice a large tree branch that appears to have been deliberately placed upright, with a different bark type, suggesting it was not a natural break but rather positioned there. This observation is especially interesting because they recall being in the same spot just the previous week.
So now you think if it's fallen, and that was the snap and catch up, but I don't know. No, because what? It would have caught on those little branches. That wouldn't have snapped it all the way back there in the fat part. It would have just fell. Or and then it was laid back up.
And that particular arrangement was not present then. They ponder how such a heavy piece of wood could have been moved and set up in that manner, ruling out natural causes like falling. This new evidence of manipulation in the environment majorly suggests an intelligent, massive presence at work. The investigators express excitement and a touch of alarm, realizing that the Shadow Figure Forest is actively changing, hinting that the entities are not only present, but are continually changing their surroundings, leaving behind fresh, puzzling clues for those brave enough to seek them. Deep in the Russian wilderness, the nights don't feel empty. They feel alive. The silence isn't safe. It's heavy, thick. You know when you're being watched. And tonight the hunter knew it too. His steps were careful, his breath slow, every movement calculated. He wasn't just here for a hunt. He was here for something else, something waiting in the shadows. He built his ambush high in the trees, a wooden stand hidden deep in the forest. He settled in, listening, watching. The wind went still, the air turned cold. Something was wrong. Here's what the camera actually captured. Suddenly, branches shifted. Quick snaps echoed through the dark. The hunter froze. His body didn't move, but his pulse was racing. He scanned the trees. There, movement, fast, low, then gone. His breath stayed shallow. His hands locked on his camera. He didn't dare look away. The hours dragged on. The darkness pressed in around him. Every small sound mattered now. A crack, a shuffle, a faint step. Then silence, long, crushing silence. But the hunter knew. The forest wasn't empty. Watch this clip closely.
О, блядь. Тихо, 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 братан. Запыхался нахуй. Тихо. Там где-то, блядь.
A dark shape slipped between the trees. It moved fast, just a blink, and it was gone. The hunter's heart slammed in his chest. He panned his camera, searching the undergrowth. He caught nothing, but something was there, watching, waiting. The silence returned, heavier now. He didn't speak. He didn't move. Every sound hit his ears like a warning. A faint brush, a broken twig. His fingers tightened around his gear. He knew he wasn't alone. Take a look at this. Another loud crack. Heavy footsteps nearby. He turned his camera sharply, searching the thick woods, but nothing appeared. His flashlight stayed locked on. He refused to shut it off now. The danger felt close, too close. The forest pressed in, as if something was circling him. Here's the moment it happened. His light caught something, a shadow moving. A sudden sharp sound burst out, loud, close. The hunter didn't flinch. He stayed steady, gripping his camera, scanning every inch of the dark. The creature didn't step out, but it didn't leave either. The night dragged on, every second stretched. He stayed in that wooden stand, alone, surrounded by whispers, by movements just out of reach. He never saw it clearly, but he felt it. He heard it. He knew it was there. By morning, the sounds faded. The forest settled. He climbed down carefully. Slowly. He didn't speak. He didn't celebrate. The forest hadn't shown him its secret, but it had let him feel it. Enough to know he wasn't alone. So what was it? Some say it was just a bear. Others believe it was something else. Something we don't talk about. Something that only comes when the night is deep and the silence is sharp. What do you think? Was this just another animal, or was it something much stranger? Something that didn't want to be seen? Have you ever spent a night like this? A night where you knew something was out there. A night where every sound made your skin crawl. Tell us in the comments. Share your story. Let's keep searching. Let's keep listening. There's something out there. And some nights, it's watching you. Out in the wild waters of British Columbia, stories travel fast. Stories of the Bukwoos, the wild man of the woods. The local watchmen know these tales well, and some of them have lived them. It started in the early 2000s, a quiet floating gift shop anchored off Village Island. One day, a pair of kayakers stepped inside, uneasy. They asked a strange question. Who throws rocks out here? There's no one else. And out here, nothing throws rocks except the wild man. See for yourself.
We were wondering what it was. And I said, well, nothing throws rocks out here except for humans and Bigfoot, the wild man of the woods, the male Sasquatch. And it's one of their traits. It's a primate characteristic that Diane Fossey and Jane Goodall established back in the 60s with primates, that when threatened or curious, they'll throw rocks.
The kayakers had camped nearby. That night, while watching stars over calm water, rocks came from the trees behind them, small, precise, splashes in the silence. They thought it might be animals, but in these woods, that's not what animals do. Throwing rocks? That's something else. In primate research, this is a warning. Gorillas, chimps, they throw when they're threatened. And the Bukwoos? He does the same. The watchman knew it instantly. He told the kayakers what they had likely encountered. They didn't want to go back to their camp, so he helped them pack. But before leaving, he checked the site himself. Take a look at this.
But when we came here, of course, I went and looked behind the campsite here, and I found a tree snap. It was about that high where something had grabbed a small spruce tree, busted it, and twisted it. Well, a human can't do that. And it wasn't snow damage. It was fresh. It had been done within a few hours. So that's another primate characteristic, especially of the North American Bigfoot.
Behind their camp, he found a tree snap, fresh, twisted, too strong for any human. This wasn't snow damage or accident. It was deliberate. Another warning, another sign. Tree snaps, rock throws. These are the Bukwoos' signals. Primate behaviors, just like his distant relatives in the jungles. But out here, he's something else. Something that walks upright. Something that watches from the dark. Years earlier, the watchman had already faced the Bukwoos up close, back in 1994, out on a fishing boat near Village Island. That encounter is written in John Bindernagel's book, North America's Great Ape, the Sasquatch. Here's what the camera actually captured.
And for 20 minutes with my spotlight, we watched these two creatures, but I could see reflection of eye, two eyes, one eye, like something was breathing with its arm in front of it. And when we bring the dance of the Bukwoos, the wild man of woods, to life in our big ceremonies of potlatch and other events, you'll have a costume dancer with a fur-covered costume, a mask that looks like this ape, and when you dance it, you're down low like that.
3 crew members watched as 2 huge figures appeared on the shoreline. Massive, hair-covered, moving together. As the spotlight hit them, they dropped low, crouched. One figure held its arm up, hiding its face. Only the glint of an eye showed behind the fur. The scene was locked in memory. The stance, the posture, it matched the ceremonial dances of the Bukwoos in indigenous potlatches. In the stories, the wild man always hides behind his arm. In that moment, the connection was real. Watch this clip closely.
And if you don't believe in it, come stay out here in October into November when the clams get good. And I guarantee you're going to believe in something that doesn't just snap, crack, pop in the bush at night. They may even come down and shake some foliage for you if they feel threatened. They may take a stick and bang it against a tree. Bang, 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 bang. And us Aboriginals, when we're taught hunting skills, as I taught my son and others.
Even now, the watchmen can hear their sounds. They chirp softly to each other. And when they need to warn you, they slam sticks against trees. Rapid, repeating, bang, bang. Bang! In the native teachings, when you hear that sound, you turn around. You leave. The Bookwoo's is telling you, this is my place. Don't come closer. Some people don't listen. Some keep walking deeper. When people vanish in these remote places, it's not always injury or weather. Some disappear without a trace. No falls, no accidents. Just gone. What if they went too far?
Just go on the internet and look about missing people who went camping and kayaking. There's always one or two that didn't break their leg or get hypothermia and die or have a heart attack. There's always that small percentage of people that probably didn't heed the warning of the Bookwoo's and they went further in. And of course, when you're 700 pounds to 1,000 pounds.
The Bookwoo's isn't just a legend whispered around campfires. He's part of the land, big, powerful, estimated at 700 to 1,000 pounds. A great ape of the Pacific Northwest. But more than his size, it's his warning signs that matter. The rock throws, the tree knocks, the heavy steps in the dark. When you hear it, you have a choice. Turn back, or find out what happens when you ignore him. What do you think? Were these ancient stories warning us all along? Have you ever heard something in the woods that didn't make sense? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your encounters. Let's keep exploring these mysteries together. Out here, the Bookwoo's still watches, and some nights, he lets you know. It wasn't supposed to happen. Josh Highcliffe was just out in the Mississippi woods. A quiet day. Nothing unusual, until the forest gave him something he would never forget. A dark figure, massive, moving with purpose, and he caught it all on camera. This footage says it all.
In the annals of cryptid encounters, a particularly riveting incident unfolded in 2015 thanks to the now famous Josh Highcliffe video.
At first, the scene is peaceful, just trees, leaves rustling. But then, there it is, a dark, hulking shape. It moves fast, not a bear, not a man, something else. The camera wobbles, struggling to keep up. But the creature doesn't seem to care. It keeps working, focused, pulling at the base of a cypress tree. Raw power on display. It grips, yanks, and tears chunks from the stump like it's nothing. Take a look at this.
What starts as an unassuming forest scene soon takes a chilling turn, captured through the lens of Highcliffe's camera.
You can see its fur, thick, black as obsidian. Its back is turned, but the size is undeniable. Broad shoulders, long arms. The strength is terrifying. The way it rips into the wood. This is not human. Josh holds the camera, breathing heavy, staying as quiet as he can. One wrong sound could change everything. You can feel the tension. He's close, too close. Watch this clip closely.
Initially resembling a serene forest backdrop, the footage takes an unexpected twist as a dark shadow, agile and eerily human-like, comes into focus.
The creature's movements are deliberate. It's not just grabbing random branches, it's digging into the phe, searching for something. Maybe food. Maybe just destroying. No hesitation, no fear. This is the skunk ape. That's what many call it, the southern cousin of Bigfoot. Sightings across Florida, Louisiana, and Mississippi have painted the same picture. A bipedal creature, hair-covered, strong, and elusive. Here's what the camera actually captured.
The camera, initially wobbling in its attempt to capture a steady shot, reveals a large bipedal creature covered in fur so dark it borders on obsidian.
When you pause the frame, you see the curve of its back, the muscles shifting as it pulls. It's locked in, focused on its task. It doesn't know or doesn't care that Josh is watching. People have argued over this footage for years. Some say it's a person in a suit. Others say no suit moves like that. No suit carries that weight, that power, with that much ease. And then there's the sound, the snapping of the wood. Crisp, loud, real. You can almost feel the vibration through the video.
Positioned with its back to the camera, the creature exhibits an almost primal strength, pushing itself against the stump of a tree and forcibly tugging at it, tearing off parts of a cypress tree with apparent ease.
What would you do if you stumbled on this scene? Would you keep filming? Would you run? Josh's video exploded online. The skunk ape story resurfaced, grabbing headlines, dividing believers and skeptics all over again. But here's the thing. Encounters like this, they've been reported long before cameras were around, long before the name Bigfoot even existed. In the legends, these creatures are guardians of the wild, powerful, curious, and sometimes dangerous. Some researchers point to the way it moved, the speed, the control, the human-like body covered in thick, dark hair.
It's a mesmerizing yet unsettling sight, the creature seemingly immersed in a forceful interaction with the natural surroundings. The Josh Highcliffe video remains a compelling piece of evidence, sparking debates and speculation among viewers, eager to decipher the nature of the mysterious creature captured in those haunting moments within the Mississippi wilderness.
Others focus on the details, the arm length, the way it tore the tree apart. The grip strength needed to do that isn't something most animals can match. The skunk ape is part of Southern folklore. But in this video, it feels real. It feels close. You can argue about the footage. You can break it down frame by frame. But in the end, there's something about it you can't shake. Josh saw something, and he caught it. What do you think? Was this a skunk ape or something else? Have you ever come face to face with something you can't explain? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your stories. Let's keep chasing these mysteries together. Out in those woods, some things don't want to stay hidden forever. Salish Sasquatch evidence from Washington. Something was watching. Something was close. And for one unforgettable week in 2013, the Sasquatch came to the Brown family's backyard.
And it started on October 31st of 2013 when my brother-in-law and husband got a thermal video of a Sasquatch that lasted over 2 minutes. Now, if you haven't seen that, I'm going to link it down in the description for you to check out. If you haven't seen it, you're definitely going to want to see that because...
This wasn't just random noise. This was direct contact, footprints, voices, movement, and a thermal video that changed everything. The story comes from the YouTube channel Salish Sasquatch, run by Jonathan and Sarah Brown, who live on an Indian reservation in Washington state. Over the years, they've collected some of the clearest Bigfoot evidence from their own property. But this one week in October and November 2013, it was on another level. It started on October 31st when Jonathan and his brother-in-law filmed a Sasquatch on thermal over 2 minutes of footage. If you haven't seen that, it's a must-watch. That clip still stands as one of the best thermal captures of a Sasquatch out there. But what happened next is what pulls you in. Just 2 days later, on November 3rd, something came right up to their audio recorder. Heavy, slow breathing. It wasn't just passing by. It was curious. Listen to this moment.
Now, all the cows were gone at this point. They were all removed by November 1st. Something came up to the audio and did some very odd, heavy breathing.
The sound is too close, too deliberate. 15 minutes later, it came back. Same deep breathing, just inches from the recorder. It's rare to catch that kind of up-close presence, especially without human interference. That same week, one of the Brown family's most famous audio captures returned, the Yip Yeller. Around 2 a.m., his sharp vocal bursts echoed through the property. 2 days later, on November 5th, his voice came back again, stronger, clearer. And by early morning, another voice joined him. A second Sasquatch, possibly female. Listen carefully.
So November 6th was the day that we put in the SD card and watched the thermal video, and of course we were blown away. We went to the ridge later that day and we cast a 16.5-inch footprint. And there was actually two of them. There was a right and a left print, but the only one that was castable, being on the ridge, was the right footprint.
Their calls overlap. Two distinct tones, two beings. On November 6th, they reviewed the thermal footage for the first time and realized what they'd caught. That same day, they found and cast a 16.5-inch footprint on the ridge. Not just one. There was a left and a right, but only one was castable. By November 7th, the Browns were finding more. 3 new impressions along the ridge. The pattern continued. That night at 9:45 p.m., a new voice appeared on the audio. This one was different. Lower, rougher. Some call him the big guy. His voice rumbled through the recorder. Hard to understand, but impossible to ignore.
Also very interesting was that week we tried something with stones. We always hear that Sasquatch will mess with stones or rocks in your yard or garden or whatever. So we took a pile of stones and put them on top of a fence post.
The deep growl sticks with you. That same week, they tested something else. They stacked small stones on a fence post in an area the Sasquatch frequented. Each time the result was the same. Half the stones would disappear. Never all of them, just half. 3 times in a row. What does that mean? Could this have been intentional? Could the stones be part of a subtle exchange? One thing's clear. The Sasquatch were moving through the property, night after night. They weren't just passing by. They were watching, breathing, calling, and leaving signs. The Browns caught slow, side-to-side movements on video, steady shifting, up and down. Watch this final clip.
They're also moving along. Here also. So we get this kind of motion, swaying motion. Clearly some more movement going on.
The movement is subtle, but it's there, real, measured. The Browns didn't just stumble onto this. They tracked it. They lived it. So what do you think? Was this just coincidence, or did the Sasquatch intentionally engage that week? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever heard anything like this? Hit like and subscribe if you want more real Sasquatch encounters caught on tape. Something was there. Up high, perched on the ridge. It wasn't just a shadow, it wasn't just a tree. Something dark, something heavy was watching. Daniel Benoit locked his camera onto it, trying to hold steady, focusing, zooming. There it was. That figure, dark against the hillside.
I keep seeing something up there, up on the hill there on the lower part of the ridge. I don't know, it could be a stump. It's a dark image up there.
Could it be a stump? Maybe, but then it moved. The dark shape shifted, slow, careful, like it knew it was being watched. Daniel kept zooming in, trying not to lose focus. His camera wobbled, but the shape stayed in sight. It looked like the figure had ducked lower. It was trying to hide. Daniel wasn't alone. They scanned the ridge. They kept their eyes on it. The figure was to the left now. The head moved again. It was playing games.
It's all blurry. I mean, the image looks blurry, but you can see it moving.
Peekaboo in the woods. It wasn't standing still. It was moving, sliding behind the bushes, shifting just enough to stay hidden, but not enough to disappear. Watch this part closely.
Look. Yeah. Look at it. It moved.
Its head moved.
It's moving. It's trying to hide from us. Dude, look.
There he went again. He's playing high-boo.
Dude, he's moving. There's a squatch up there. He's blurred. It's because I try not to zoom in too much.
The shape slides again. A quick move. It ducks. Then it pops back up. Blurry but visible. Daniel holds the camera steady, but the zoom makes it hard to focus. The image softens, but you can still see it. That dark figure, still watching. It's like the Squatch knew, like it was testing them, moving just enough to stay seen, but always keeping distance.
Let's turn around. Let's both turn this way. Well, now you keep facing that way. If we look away, maybe it'll move.
It never stepped into the open. It never fully disappeared. Daniel tried something different. He looked away. Maybe, just maybe, if they weren't staring, it would move again. He turned his back. The others looked away too. For a moment they pretended not to watch. And right then, the figure moved again, slipping around, pacing behind the trees. It didn't leave. It stayed close. It didn't want to lose them either. Catch it yourself.
Look, he's moved. You can't hardly see him now. Now he's almost, you can't see him no more. Wow.
The movement's faint, but it's there. The figure slides deeper behind the brush. It's playing a slow game of shadow and cover. They kept moving along the ridge. The woods stretched out around them. Quiet, still. But Daniel heard it. Movement in the distance.
But you could watch it move and go down and then go, it was going in between the bushes.
A faint sound of something walking. He heard it again. Closer this time. A snap. A step. Something was still out there, keeping pace. This wasn't new. Daniel had been here before. The feeling was the same, like something was always nearby, just out of reach. The trees were thick. The gully below was the perfect hiding place. Dense laurel brush and a low drop. A natural cover. A place to move without being seen. As they followed the ridge, they found something else. Tracks, fresh ones. Footprints pressed into the soft ground. The shape was clear. The heel dug deep. The toes spread wide. The track pointed straight ahead. Look right here.
Well, this here looks like a track going this way. There's a heel. And here's your toes right there going that way. We didn't see that one before. There's another one up here.
A second track. This one overlaps the first. Something else stepped there. The ground still held the imprint. You could see the path, the direction it went. The trail wasn't random. It followed a clear route. A path that looked like it had been used many times, well-worn, pressed down, hidden inside the trees. Daniel knew this was where they moved, where they traveled, where they watched.
All right, something go ahead. Look, it got stepped on by something. Because look, this track right here, this here had toes right up. Oh, wait a minute.
Down in the gully, the path continued, a space they could move through easily, out of sight. From the ridge above, they could track anyone passing by. Daniel remembered the last time he'd been there. He'd heard something move right beside him, but saw nothing. Now he wondered if the same thing was happening again. They checked the area where Daniel's trail camera had been set. If the camera caught anything clear, it could be huge. The shot they'd all been waiting for. The proof.
So was this one here? This was another track right here. Yeah, there you can see the toes right there.
Daniel was ready. He wanted to get a clean photo, one that no one could deny. If he captured it, he wanted people to try and challenge it. The search pushed on toward a narrow trail. A small creek cut across the path, but it was easy to cross with stepping stones. On the other side, they headed for a small open space they called the picnic area. It was a quiet clearing, tucked away in the trees. Maybe something would happen there.
Cause yeah, we're coming up to where me and Fred found those tracks. And now because we had some heavy rain the other night, so they may not be here no more. Although this area looks kind of dry. Right here, because this area right here it probably got sheltered from the rain a little bit, so maybe that track is still preserved.
Daniel stayed sharp. The woods weren't empty. The movement, the prints, The feeling of being watched. It all pointed to something still being out there, still close. Did Daniel capture a Sasquatch on camera? Watch the footage. Study the movement. Decide for yourself. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Hit like. Subscribe for more real encounters. Stay tuned. The search isn't over. Which clip hit you the hardest? And why do you think people tried to bury these? Let's talk in the comments. Smash that like button if this gives you chills, and subscribe for more finds that weren't meant to surface. Because if they hid these, what else is still out there? Which moment got to you the most? Are we catching Bigfoot, or is Bigfoot catching us? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you spotted something before we did, and subscribe for more encounters you'll want to replay. Because sometimes, the scariest thing is what's already watching.